What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and I've been booking a lot of guests lately. And the guy we're about to have on is one of the original people from 102.5 The Bone that I've kept in contact with. This guy doesn't follow a lot of people on Twitter, so when he added me, even before I met him, I knew this dude was legit. We have Nervous Jared here. What's up, dude?
That's a hard intro to follow, man.
Well, what was it that made you add me on Twitter, like, before we even knew each other? I think it was before I worked on the previous show, or it might have been the beginning of that.
I think it was beforehand. I knew of you from the morning show boot camp. I'm a fan and a friend of a lot of people that you met, and I saw this one guy constantly posting pictures with people I knew. Yes, it was probably with the hashtag, and you click on that, and it's just this one 8-foot tall kid taking pictures with every single person in Chicago, and it happened to be you.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's a very big radio conference, but not a lot of people use Twitter as much as I did at the radio conference. I mean, there were plenty of MSBC. What was it, 26, like Miguel Fuller,
sure,
Holly, BJ Shea, Brother Weeze. But I was so on that hashtag that when I would look at it, you would have a few from like Seth or Tim Clark, sure, and they're tweeting normally, but then you have me covering them.
But that's the thing, though. It's one of those. Twitter is a great resource. You said I don't follow many people, which I don't, and that's. I guess if you call I'm following like 500 or something people. At one point, I was like, no more under 200, but. It's one of those things. Twitter is a great resource, and that's how I met people like you. I've never met some of the people that I follow on radio, but meeting them through there. There's a guy named Spencer. He's out of Delaware. I met him through Miguel, who you recently just had on. I've only met him through Twitter, and it's one of those things. Those are great contacts to have.
It's weird. Like, I don't know if you've ever met like a radio guy and they know you from Twitter. Like, when I met a few people at the radio conference, they're like, "Don't I follow you on Twitter?" Like, it's weird how in 2015 you don't have to know someone for them to know who you are. You know, like. There's people on Twitter that are diehard fans of your show, BDRS.
Sure.
Like Murky Merc, Darlene, Tiff, all these diehard fans. And what's funny about it is, if I were to see them at, let's say, Publix or Mickey D's, I would know what they look like, even though we've never had face-to-face contact.
It's just one of those things to me. Like, I'm very happy that people want to follow what we do, and those are like the people, like you said, are diehards, or P1s as people like to call them in radio terms. It's just one of those things where those are the people that want to be there for every single thing you do, and you got to appreciate that. And that's definitely one of the things I do.
Now, you've been in radio for like 4 years. Have you seen a transition with things once like social media exploded? Do you notice that it's like easier for the listeners to get in contact with us and interact since you joined the Spice Show 4 years ago?
Absolutely. I mean, actually, I've been in this building 6 years. I started as an intern with Seth and Fisher and Danielle on the Morning X, and it was one of those things we were just starting to get into everything. It was like that 2009, 2010 area where, yeah, we had Twitters, and because it was a good, useful thing to use, but it was nothing like it is now.
And you said you worked with Seth, Fisher, and Danielle at 97X. How did you get your foot in the door? Was that through an internship program? Did you email them? Like, how does that work?
When I was in high school, radio was the one thing I wanted to do. I had my goals set, and I reached out to program directors and just on-air talents, and Seth was one of the people I reached out to, but I didn't get my foot in the door with him. It just didn't work. I reached out a couple times. 97X here in Tampa was one of the stations that I more than anybody else, but I actually started over at 93.3 with
MJ.
Over there with MJ, and I became friends with the program director there. He brought me in. I hung out with him for a day, and some of the other on-air learned some of the ropes for a couple days, and it just became one of those things where I brought about it as much as I could. Went to school for it and everything like that. And eventually, they did bring me in here to 97X and or into this Cox building, and it became just something where I just decided I'm just going to bust my ass because I don't have anything to fall back on right now.
I'm the same way. Obviously, when you see my passion and how much I listen to the radio, you would expect that it's been my thing for a while, which it has been. And when a thing's been like your passion for so long, that comes with the haters who don't believe in you and they think you're just a radio geek or a fan, just like anything in life. A lot of people said I would never get a job in radio because my speech was atrocious 2 years ago. I was like a broken record. I couldn't get words out. And we were talking about a month ago, and there's been people in radio who have sort of made fun of your approach and how you talk on air and said you would never get on air here at The Bone. So how does it feel when you prove them wrong and you're like, hey, bitch, I'm the co-host of the night show? You know what I mean?
It's one of those things. I've had a chip on my shoulder for a very long time, and it's just I've never let anybody tell me no, and that's one of the things I try to tell everybody else is don't let. Yeah, people are going to go, this is the way a show should go, or this is the way I want my station to go. But if you believe in what you can bring to the table, then all that doesn't matter because you know what you can do. And I've busted my ass and proved myself over time to get where I'm at now. I mean, everybody will... There's a hater everywhere. That's the way I kind of look at it. I had my own mother even told me, you're wasting your goddamn time. And to me, that's something that I don't forget. And I had the ability to get in there with Seth and Danielle and Fisher, and they believed that what I could do and became an intern. And Matt Spice Lloyd, I mean, he was one of the biggest people in my career because he saw something in what I could do, and that's the way I look at it. I mean, and I try to help everybody out as I can, and that's one of the things that I like about you, man, is like, you know what you can do, and it's one of the things you just don't let people tell you no.
There's no reason to let anybody tell you no, because if people keep listening to your podcast and you keep working on the shows, you know you have some talent. Like if we were so bad at radio, they would kick us out the door and we wouldn't be working here. So when you're working in radio, you have to keep going up the ladder and keep improving your talent and the way you approach radio. We know since we're on the air that we're good, so why would we let anyone tell us that we can't make it even farther? Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, the way I look at it is if you think you can do something, then do it. It doesn't matter what anybody else tells you. And that's one of the things like I said, I like about you, man, is like, yeah, we're going to bust your balls. That's what happens around here.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed that.
But the thing is, it does get to people a little bit. It got to me. There was one point I didn't want to be in radio anymore because I just didn't understand it and didn't know enough to go, this is what I want to do, even though this is all I've wanted to do. But the thing is, you just take every little piece of advice, every little thing that people bring to you, and just go guns blazing. And really, people aren't going to tell you the door, aren't going to tell you this is bad or show you the door, is what I'm trying to say.
Here's my thing. When the host busts your balls, that's different because they're letting you on the air so you know they like you and they believe in you. But isn't it kind of weird how the fans sometimes can't relay that and they think that they hate you personally? So then the fans begin trashing you on Twitter and they are just so aggressive. Like the show I worked on in Cleveland, they hate on me to this day going on August. Like it doesn't get me mad, but it's just like, it's funny how they waste the time of day that we're given to tweet something at a promotions boy at The Bone or a co-host at BDRS. Like, isn't it very strange how they hide behind the keyboard and talk smack?
Like, we talked about Twitter being a great thing, but at the same time, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because of that reason alone. Like, there's people that'll go, oh, hey, love the show, and you automatically go, yes, thank you, because that's what keeps us going.
Exactly.
But at the same time, there's another guy who's like, fuck you, I'm gonna punch you in the dick next time I see you. Like, that stuff happens to me all the time, but you know what? I embrace it because at the same time, that guy's still listening.
I know, that's what I love is they think by them tweeting, oh yeah, I hated that segment you did this week and the segment you did today sucks. It's like, dude, how would you know it sucked if you weren't listening? Like, obviously, you're giving us ratings. Yeah. Obviously, you're helping out the Bone or anywhere you work. It's like, if you hated us so much and you couldn't stand us, you wouldn't be listening. It's sort of like I despise the Kardashians. Think out of any celebrity, I hate them with all my heart. They have no talents. Their main breadwinner is famous for an awful porno with a one-hit wonder, and he barely has a hit.
Yeah, that's Brandy's brother. Leave him alone a little bit.
What?
That's Brandy's brother. You got to leave him alone a little bit.
Who's Brandy?
You don't know who Brandy is?
No.
The Boy Is Mine? It's a fantastic effing song.
Don't know it.
Oh, my God.
Okay, but it's like, I hate the Kardashians so much. I hate sitcoms on CBS. I don't watch them. That's what I love is...
You don't have a TV. That's why you don't watch them.
I watch things on demand, damn it. If you hate something so much, don't listen. That's what I love about the haters is they hate on us all they want, but they keep listening. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
The way I look at it is, yeah, there could be people that hate on you. There's a guy named Mike who calls into the show that I'm on Saturdays.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed.
All the time. He calls just to hate on me. But at the same time, I like to look at it. I'll bust his balls as much as he will mine. But if I can make him laugh at least one time during the show, then you know what? At the end of the day, I really don't care what he thinks because I'm doing my job there.
Okay. I want to get your take on the news because I love what you bring to the air, and I think with our young voices, this would make for a pretty badass segment. So here's the first headline I heard, and I saw online, and it's one of those like things where you roll your eyes immediately. Like there's a lot of headlines you see on Facebook, and you're too lazy to click on it. But this is one of those, Jared.
Okay.
Where I had to click on it because I thought it was an article from The Onion.
Yeah.
Like, you don't believe that this is real. There's no way in hell this is real, but it is. It says sheriffs in Missouri are receiving threats from atheists for having on the back of their car, "In God We Trust." Oh, heaven forbid, when you put your life on a line and you're doing something with your life and you're protecting us, heaven forbid, maybe putting those 4 words on the back of a car makes you comfortable, makes you feel safe. I don't know what I am. My parents are Roman Catholic. I don't know. My whole family is. I wouldn't even say I'm atheist. I just don't go to church and I go about my day. But I despise these atheists that want equal rights, that complain and bitch about everything. It's like, shut up. Just because you're the loudest douchebag in the room doesn't mean you're proving anything. What do you think?
I mean, it's a dumb thing. Because honestly, if I'm arresting this person, if I'm the cop, they're only going to see it for about 5 seconds when I have their head on the trunk and I'm putting them in handcuffs. Right. At that point, I don't really give a crap because you're inside of the car. It's but it is something that people are going to hate on because, oh, I don't believe in God. I don't care what you believe in. The law is the law, and believe in that, and that's how you end it.
Here are 2 things. First of all, if you hate seeing it so much on the highway, look forward. You shouldn't be looking at someone's bumper.
Yes.
Like you're going to crash into a cop, or try and figure out a way to go into the next lane so you don't have to look at the cop's car because you can't go around them, obviously. And second of all, I don't want people to think that I'm hating on atheists and that I'm religious or that I believe in God. I don't know what I believe in. I hate the Christians that bother you and go door to door and try to sell you Bibles, or the Mormons or the Jehovah's Witnesses that come by. Anybody who preaches so much about something annoys the hell out of me. It's just like, keep it to yourself. If we want to believe and we want to convert, we'll do it ourselves. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan. I mean, but that's what people believe in. To me, pushing your religion or pushing anything on someone or myself or whatever, to me, it doesn't work. I don't want to hear it. If I want to believe in it, then I'm already going to believe in it. You're not going to sway me.
Did you go to church as a kid?
I did. Yeah, I went to a black workout church, as they call it, because it was every 5 minutes someone stand up and pray, and I've
been to those. Those are very hyper and very energetic.
Yeah, I went to those, and we didn't fit in. I'm a Puerto Rican kid. My mom's Puerto Rican, and my stepdad's a 7-foot-tall white guy. We stood out like sore thumbs, but it worked. And I don't go to church anymore. I'm not a fan. To me, I have some sort of religious belief, but I don't know what it is. I know there's got to be something out there, but
that's how I feel. These guys act like they're so big, these priests. They get such an ego. And it's like, if you're such a holy person that we should be looking up to, if you're such a great guy, it's like, I don't think God would like if you're selling books and you're Joel Osteen or you're Billy Graham's scumbag son banging out other girls when you're cheating on your wife just because she was cheating on you, you scumbag. It's like, if you're such good people that we should be looking up to, you really need to take into account those 4 cliche, annoying words. What would Jesus do? Number one, if somebody was cheating on Jesus, I don't think he would go out banging out other girls and using that as an excuse. And number 2, he did do things for people. He gave them wine. He gave them bread. You never saw him asking for coins for him to come speak. It's like, I know they have to make a living, but these guys, their net worth is like $40 million. It's like you're so rich because you're just selling religion. It's like, why should we relate to you? Why should we do this or that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, religion's the biggest business out there. There was a story recently that I thought was extremely interesting. There was a pastor out of Atlanta, sadly where I'm from, and he was saying he needed a $6 million jet. He needed a private jet that was $6 million, and he was asking his congregation for it. But the way his congregation went was, the more you give to the church, the better things are going to go for you. It's a sham, and that's the thing, is it really knocks down what people that are actually religious, people that have some real belief, it kind of makes a sham out of the whole thing.
Now, there's the next topic that I want to talk about. This is another one I did believe, because America's very dumb. But I just couldn't believe that people would be this dumb. Now, when you see a lot of posts on Facebook that are kind of weird, it's never people on radio. It's usually people that you knew from high school or college.
Absolutely.
And they're putting up pictures of them at parties, and they either dropped out of college or they're 25 and they can't get their life together. Have you ever seen those selfies where they're driving around and they're hotboxing their car, or they show their table and they have like the computer remote? No, they have the Xbox remote, the pizza, and then their bong. It's like, why are you promoting that you smoke weed? Nobody cares. And number 2, it's not like when you put that up, girls are going to be like, oh my God, you have a bong? I'm so turned on. Can I come over? Like, that never happens. Nobody cares. And it says here, there's a marijuana selfie on Facebook that led to an arrest.
Yeah, it happens a lot frequently, or a lot more frequently, I guess you could say, than people think, because people are effing stupid. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. They're constantly, you'll see it more on like things like Instagram than anything else, because it's less policed. But yeah, people go, oh look, there's no seeds or stems. Awesome. Yeah, I guess that's awesome, but at the same time, look at what you're putting out there. You can't deny some of this stuff if it ever comes back to you. This is what I'm waiting for. And because I know I'll be 60 something by then, 65 probably. I want to see when I'm 65 something on Fox News of, excuse me, Congressman Jones, do you remember this post on Facebook in 2015 of ain't no seeds or stems in this bitch? Because that's what's going to happen. There's so many dumb people out there posting stupid pictures or things of, oh, look, we're playing Flip Cup. That there are people out there that eventually you're going to grow up. You're going to turn into something. And all this stuff's going to bite you in the ass one day.
But it says here, the guy was 20. And he's now been accused of growing marijuana inside his abandoned home because he took a picture of the weed he's growing. Like, do you want to get caught? It's not like you took a picture of your filled up bowl or you took a picture of the smoke in your house. When you take a picture of the weed you're growing, you're going to get caught, you moron.
Yeah, people don't know this, and they should, that the cops kind of peruse social media a little bit. There was a story last week or something like that the cops in like South Florida, a lady tweeted out, need to find some weed.
Oh yeah.
And the police responded back to her because people don't realize that the cops kind of check in on stuff like that. They kind of hit up the social media every now and then.
And here's what people don't know either, because they have the brain cell of how much their weed weighs, is they think even if they're anonymous on Facebook or they kind of change their name around, like if their name's Ryan Johnson, they'll write RYANNNN, to try and be anonymous. They don't realize that there's such thing as an IEP address.
So you mean people whose names are Jeremy got mega stacks on deck? That's not his actual last name?
Or there was one, and he's from Illinois. I know him. It's Kelly Weed Killer.
That's not his last name? I thought that was...
Are you serious? That's not what it says on the birth certificate?
Mr. Weed
Born
Killer?
in 1994. Kelly Weed Killer. Moron.
It's dumb. It's like you said. I mean, it is easily traceable with IP addresses and stuff like that. I mean, people don't think, and that's the problem now.
Here's the next headline that I feel like it's happening all the damn time. First, before we get into it, what I'm about to ask you, I think you can probably figure out what it's about.
Okay.
But
I'm ready.
You ready?
I think so.
What do you think of the Confederate flag?
Oh, God.
I just opened up a can of worms in Pandora's box.
And I'll put it this way, and it's going to sound stupid because it is. Yes, I understand what the issue is with it and what it represents. And I talked about this on the show that I do with Mo and Johnny B, the BDRS, that to me, I know it's bad, and I know the negative stuff around it, but like I mentioned before, I grew up in Georgia, and the state flag there was over half the Confederate flag, a blue bar, a blue up and down bar, and the state seal. To me, it was just something that's like, oh, cool, that's what our flag looks like, awesome. So to me, I'm trying to figure the best word for it. It's something that I saw all the time. So it's something that doesn't have as much of a negative tone with me, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I agree with everything that's happening. It needs to be something that's taken down. It's not the right thing to have up. It does show some stupidity, to be honest.
Oh, it does. When you see someone that has that flag on their car or on their house, it's a certain demographic of people. It's never, and I'm not trying to be edgy, not trying to be upfront, because people will get mad about this. They will get very furious with me. It's sort of not a scumbag, but it's a certain breed that has that on their house, that has it on their car. They're dirty. They wear old jeans, this and that. Like, it takes a certain person to put it up. And they can say all they want. Oh, it's a tradition. It's a part of history. But they also will call into Drew Garabo's show and try to say, oh, why can't we say the N-word? Or they'll begin ranting about black people. It's like, I'm sorry, not everybody that has that flag is racist, I'll be honest. But most of them, like even before this, Jared, when I would see that flag, I immediately thought of racism. And when you would drive around the guy on the highway, he was some dude in a pickup truck wearing a Alabama hat. It's like it's a certain demographic, and we're lying to ourselves if we don't think there's a racist connotation to it. It's like, come on.
But that was what I was gonna say as well, though. I have friends back home that are okay with it because, and they go here. It's part of my heritage, not hate. A lot of people look at that as a stupid line, like saying, oh no, it's cool to have black friends. But for some people, that's actually a true thing, where they say it is heritage, not hate. I have one friend whose great-grandfather or something along those lines was a Confederate soldier. So to him, I understand it does mean something. But for some people, it doesn't mean anything. And it's very stupid looking. It's sort of... I I think some stuff has been taken a little too far.
Yeah.
And the things like the Dukes of Hazzard being taken off TV.
Don't even get me going.
That's a little too much. And it's the same thing with them taking the Cosby Show off of TV because of the stuff that came out about him. Stuff like that, to me, is almost going a little too far. We're almost too PC. But I do understand it does upset people.
Here's my thing with the whole political correctness. It's like there's no racism in Dukes of Hazzard. It's a happy show. There's no jokes about rape in the Cosby Show. It's like, why are we getting rid of it if there's nothing wrong with the shows? I would get if Dukes of Hazzard was on right now, then maybe you get rid of it. Or if the Cosby Show was on now, you would definitely get rid of it. But like, for the first 40 years of these people's lives, they love the Cosby Show.
Exactly.
They love Dukes of Hazzard. So just because there's a flag on it, we're going to change it. And I know the Cosby thing's a little bit different because he's a scumbag and a rapist and a cretin. But even though he was an awful human being on the side, he made a show that broke TV ratings. It's like we can't just sweep it under the rug and pretend it doesn't exist.
Well, it's not even
then we're
that.
Letting Bill Cosby win, you know?
He hasn't been convicted of anything yet.
Exactly, even though he did it.
Let him be convicted beyond the court of public opinion before you do something like take his show off the air. That's the same thing with Hulk Hogan. They kind of erased his history from the WWE. Yes, that's bad and that's a business move. So that should have been done, and it was. But the things like Bill Cosby and the Dukes of Hazzard, wait a little bit before you do something.
Here's my thing with the whole Hulk Hogan thing. It's like you have a scumbag of a commissioner, or what is Vince McMahon?
He's the actual owner of
That's what I meant.
He owns the entire thing. He is WWE.
He's been known as a scumbag. He does this and that. There's been so much controversy. There's videos of him saying the N-word. It's like, I know when you said it, it was more in a joking connotation. You're trying to fit in, and you're not being racist like Hulk Hogan was. But at the same time, it's like, we should get rid of you then. With all the things you've done, why isn't there fake outrage with you? It's just like, I love with these like things, we're just like throwing people under the bus and pretending that their accomplishments mean nothing just because they did something wrong. You agree?
I do, and like this is one of the things when it comes to Vince McMahon is I know what you're talking about in reference to the there's a video from like one of the events where it was on TV and he said the word, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is with that, it was coming out of the Attitude Era, which for WWE fans and people that might not know, the Attitude Era was pretty much when they were allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. And it was coming out of that, where now the WWE is very PC. It's very directed at kids, very mainstream compared to where it used to be. And that's the reason why they had to delete him off the surface. Was it justified? I guess. I mean, but the thing is, I guess, and from a business standpoint, I know what they're doing, and they had to do it. But the reason Vince kind of gets away with that stuff is because at the end of the day, he signs the checks, and the time he did it, which is no excuse for the matter. But when he did it, he was. Not just him, but everybody in professional wrestling was all in on let's bleed, let's say crazy stuff, let's hurt each other as much as we can, because that's what gets the ratings.
With everything we've just talked about, the last three topics, it comes with fake outrage and political correctness that is getting out of hand here in 2015. What is your take on it? Because mine is like this. If you hate a TV show so much that is edgy, turn off the TV. And if you don't want your kids to see it, be a good parent and don't let them watch it. Or if they're not home, get a parent chip and they can't watch it. Or if you don't want them to hear a show that's edgy on the radio, flip the dial and turn on Top 40 Radio. Or if you don't want them to hear about something, tell them why it's wrong. That's what my parents did. I don't know why these parents and these groups are trying to get these radio hosts fired, these public figures, just because they don't agree with what they say. It's like, what happened to sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's It seems like people would rather have rocks thrown at them than have someone say something offensive. You know what I mean?
I do, and it's like what I was saying with the WWE thing. As a society, we're no longer in an attitude era, you could say, where everything has to be clean and everything has to go this way where it's not going to offend anybody. Well, guess what? That shit ain't happening, man.
Yeah.
Everybody is offended by something. Something I've probably said on your show right now has probably offended somebody when it comes back to the Confederate flag thing, where I'm like, it's bad, but I get why it's not so bad to some people. Somebody can take that and be like, that's fucking horrible. But guess what? That's what happens. That's what life is. And until I die, and until you die, and until the world fucking falls apart, that's what's going to happen.
And it's like, would you rather be a robot and we all walk in a straight line behind each other and agree with the same things? Or would you rather have a mix of people who bring unique opinions to our mind and we expand it? Like, why do people get so offended? It's like, for the first 9 billion years or however long Earth has been around, people were never like this. But now, the last 20 years, it's gone downhill where everyone's offended, dude. And what it reminds me of, and I know I say this a lot on Twitter and people are sick of it, that Mike Judge movie from 10 years ago,
course.
Idiocracy, is coming to life. Every single part of it is coming to life. And it's not like we're 70 years old, 2060 or 2070. And it's not like that movie was a half a century old and now it's coming true. It's beyond frightening when the movie is a decade old and everything's coming to life. You know what I mean?
I do. And I saw something on Facebook, I think might have been today, of someone posted this meme of two people pointing at a guy who had like his head down in shame, and they were blacked out figures. And the guy with his head down in shame, you saw he had a giant brain, and the people pointing and laughing at him had very small ones. It looks like, and it's going more and more this way, like the movie, of you're kind of shamed for having a brain, having a thought, and being able to think on your own, where there's so many damn stupid people out there, man, that those opinions, someone going, oh, Captain D's fish sticks offends me, we're all going to shut down Captain D's now.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many. If you put one opinion out there, there are 20 idiots that will follow that opinion very easily, which I like because I bring stupid opinions to the air nightly.
What do you think, like, when we talk about this, do you ever get the, like, chills or the creeps? Because I sort of do, where it's just like, what's happening to society? I get the chills because it's sort of like, what's going on? It's like, why is it going down this path? You know what I mean?
Not really.
Maybe it's just me.
No, like, I think there's the way things are going, and we talked about this before the show even started, was that there's too much technology out there right now. People are way too accessible to things. It's making us dumber. We were talking about maps and Google and stuff beforehand, and like, you could ask me, who was the 42nd president? Well, before, you'd have to think, or you'd have to look in a book and actually read some stuff.
Yeah.
Now I can just go, Siri, what's number President 42? And bing, it's there. That's one of the things. We're getting worse. By the time my kids come along, or your kids come along, you're not going to have to do anything. There's going to be robots running your Burger King. There's going to be news reporters aren't going to be there anymore. These things are going out the window. We're seeing it right now with the newspaper. It's been huge news over the last 10 years. The newspapers are going out the window because guess what? We don't need them. They're being replaced by our cell phones. Instant gratification is what's hurting everybody, and it's also making us worse.
Remember when you would try to watch a porno online and the dial-up would keep
I'm actually
refreshing?
watching one right now.
Jesus, dude.
Don't look over on the side of the table.
Dude, why do I keep hearing the grunting of James Dean, dude? You're weird.
He's a sexy man.
He is. But remember, like, how hard it was to watch it on your Razor and you would just get a picture? Remember on the BlackBerry, it would buffer a lot? Now you can watch whatever you want online. It's like, I don't like how it's going down. It's like it was sort of fun when you had to find things online. Now it's just like, hey, do I want to watch Lisa Ann and 12 dudes? Here you go.
Yeah, I think everything is it's too accessible. That's the problem. People, if you tone things down, if they make the internet slower and people actually have to work for a little bit and try to figure something out.
I miss those
exactly.
days, you know?
That doesn't happen anymore, and that is hurting people a lot.
Since we're talking about it, this is something I've wanted to talk to people about it, but it's not like an icebreaker you bring up at a party or something you talk about during a break in radio, like when we go to commercial break.
Sure.
But don't you find porn kind of creepy now? Like when you first find out about it when you're age 16, you're like, oh my God, they're hot and they're having sex. But now that... Like, how old are you?
25.
You look like you're 22.
Thanks, man. I'll take that all day, to be honest. I don't get that often.
Now, you're 25. I'm 21. We're not that far away from each other's age. Like, I'm going to turn 22 in 2 months. And it's like, I feel like when you grow older... You want to have a girl in front of you. And number two, when you look at these girls' eyes, they don't look happy that they're having sex on camera. And it's like...
You're watching the wrong stuff, man.
No, if you really... I'm not trying to be creepy.
I'm not looking at their eyes. What are you watching?
You're killing me, Smalls. I mean, just think about it. It's like... Maybe I need a girlfriend, and maybe I need to get laid, but it's just like...
Yes, and yes.
I don't know. It's just... I feel bad when I watch it. It's like, it fascinates me. What's the conversation like before with the producers and the directors and the writers, and what's it like afterwards? Good job, champ, and they give each other high fives. You know what I mean?
I do.
Or am I just weird as hell?
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, there's like... documentaries and stuff on Netflix about that stuff, like life after porn, and those people kind of go into what you're talking about, how it wasn't a fun life, and that's why a lot of them drop out in like their mid to early 20s if they started at 18 or 19, because the lifespan isn't that long. You don't see a lot of Lisa Ann's anymore, or
she's gross, by the way.
Well, but the thing is, like, she's a business of herself. She's so smart when it comes to marketing that she doesn't really have to do porn anymore.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, so many people drop out of it because guess what? It's not a fun lifestyle. Not that I know, but it doesn't seem like it'd be as fun as people think. Like, hey, guess what? It's Tuesday, doing some banging for money again. Thursday, banging for money again. Yeah, the money's great, but guess what? After a while, you're kind of tired of doing the banging for no reason at all besides the money.
I think what's not fun about it too is you have to like hold out for literally every sex position possible, and when you're being serviced you have to like hold back. I think that's probably what's not fun about it, is it actually takes work.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it might have been Barbie Chandler I heard talking about this.
Wait, did she come into like Cox Media here in Tampa, or
no? This was on a different program, and she said that she did one film one time, and it took maybe 12 hours to do something like that, because through editing and stuff it gets down to about 20 minutes. But it's one of those things, like, that's not fun. Like, I love radio, but if I have to sit there for 12 hours, after a while I'm going to go, I don't want to do this right now. I'd rather sit on my couch.
All right, before we let you go, you're a die-hard Atlanta Hawks fan. You love Atlanta sports because you're from Georgia, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm from right outside of Atlanta.
And what do you think when these teams get new arenas? Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes when it's old and it needs to get renovated, that's fine. But the arena that is just 14 years old, Atlanta wants to get a new one.
Oh, they want to get rid of Phillips, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
I understand it, though. I mean, it's one of the things in Atlanta, the way it's going right now, the Braves are getting a new stadium outside of Atlanta, which is a different story.
They don't even care about the Hawks there, dude.
They're starting to. Coach Bud, who came from the Spurs and that dynasty, has turned it into something there, and it's becoming something, but yeah, I don't know where they're gonna move something to, because there's not really a ton of room for it. The Falcons are getting something built right next door, so everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses. But at the same time, there's not a dynasty, or there's not even a legacy of anything of winning yet for them to go, we need something new. Plus, the arena's really, honestly, not that bad.
And it seems like a waste of money too, because it's just sports at the end of the day, and it's an awful sports town that has occasionally a good turnout once during the playoffs. It's like Atlanta has some bad neighborhoods. Maybe it has potholes that need to be fixed.
That's anywhere, though, honestly.
So put the money there, then. Who cares about the Hawks?
But the thing is, the way they do these are so great is they go through, like, your hotel tax. So let's say you get a hotel for $80, somewhere not so great. Well, guess what? Your tax that's going to go on that, which turns your hotel to about $110, that money's going right to the state for building in a new arena and stuff like that. And then the ownership groups, they pitch in a bunch of money, which the Hawks are going through a new one right now.
Why are Atlanta fans so atrocious?
I don't know if we're atrocious. It's
You're pretty bad.
we're not used to winning is the thing. The early 90s were awesome for us, and then everything kind of just fell apart, and we're so now used to this is the year, and then come playoffs we go, okay, well, we'll get them next time, because it just doesn't work out. And it sucks being any fan of any Atlanta sport or Georgia sports in general, because that's the thing. Every year I go, this is the year, and I end it with, maybe it's next year.
Now, before I let you go, what is your dream radio job? Like, mine were to be a co-host on a morning show and then someday get a morning gig like Mike Kelton, guys like that.
Sure.
What is your dream gig?
I right now, and this is going to sound like the stupid cliche answer, I'm kind of living a dream gig, because like we talked about earlier, I was told I couldn't do this. And I was told I would fail out and everything like that, and I eventually worked my way from being an intern, getting people lunch, to being just a person who'd be here during the overnights, then answering the phones, and being the whipping boy, and then moving up to a producer, and now up to a co-host. It's one of the things where I'm living the dream, but at the end of the day, where I want to be on. I want my name on a show, and that's the biggest thing. And this is the way I want to do it. I want to be able to watch Price is Right from my home, which means I want a damn morning show, and that's what my end goal is at the end of the day.
That's a good point. All right, Jared, before we let you go, where can people find your work online?
Oh, it's easy, man. You can hit me up any time of the day. Nervous Jared on Twitter. It's Nervous Jared on Instagram. It's Nervous Jared on MySpace, Tinder.
What about Zanga?
I just closed down my Zanga. OkCupid, unfortunately, Nervous Jared was taken. It's Nervous Jared 2. There was actually a Nervous Jared 1 right before that.
What about Adult Friend Finder?
I actually don't have one of those. I've heard bad things. So, but yeah, it's Nervous Jared everywhere you want to find it. Be honest, that's the thing. It's Nervous Jared's everywhere, or you can just hear the Bone Daily Rewind show as well.
Dude, you have to come on again. This 45 minutes went by fast, dude.
Dude, my favorite part about this, it's about right now. It's a good time. 45 minutes in. No, but it's the fact that I'm doing something a little bit different than what I do on the show. On the show, I try to be the quick-witted guy, try to bring some funny opinions and stuff like that. I brought you some serious stuff. Like I've tried to NPR it a little bit, and also get to say the word fuck a couple times that I don't get to do over regular airwaves.
What's funny is I don't want to say it because I'm the promotions boy and I just kind of want to keep it clean. But holy shit, was this fun. Peace out. This has been Hoppe Hour.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour. This is an official broadcast of Hoppe Radio. For more info, check out hopperadio.com and hoppesworld.com.
I thought we was going to take turns on this. How come I'm still in the hole and you still... Is that the Jeffersons?
We traded turns, remember?
No.
You traded one of your turns for 3 of my turns, and a turn to be named later.
Well, I tell you this. I'm going to be pissed if I get over there and he ain't changed the pH in our pool.
No, I'm with you on that one.
Hey, Carl, if you wouldn't mind, could you please turn your security grid the off so I can get some sleep?
Hang on, let me think. No.
Dude, you want to move your thing? You almost killed us.
Yeah, are you begging me instead to, mess up your pizza face in front of your girlfriend over there? Because I'll do it, man.
Dude, it's not worth it.
Look at my shit, man. My dad's gonna be pissed.
Dude, do you know who his dad is?
He's totally rich. He will totally hook you up, dude. We're drunk.
Are these friends of yours, Fry Man?
Hey, where's the club? I need to piss.
They came from space, Typically, that means, you're somehow connected.
Carl, I've never seen them before in my life.
So then you don't mind if I talk to her?
Her? Yeah, knock yourself out. She's a regular hoe bag.